Hello and welcome to BloombergQuint. JSW Energy has come out with its set of quarterly numbers, and joining us to dissect the results, we are having the company's joint MD and CEO, Mr. Prashant Jain. Thank you, sir, for coming. So the numbers were really good, and the margins, went out almost 10% up to almost 44%. What would be the reason for this, sir?
Actually, we did quite well because we sold our short-term power quite well in advance, and we took real advantage of the falling fuel prices. The coal prices were down by 40% year on year, and our O&M costs was also down, and because of which our EBITDA was up by 5%. And while the industry was seeing kind of a contraction in the month of August and September, and then merchant prices were also subdued, our deemed PLF was up by 2%. It was 79% as compared to 77% year before. And our interest cost was also down, and which was down by 12% because we have been prepaying our debt, and because of which our PBT was up by 23%.
So your various plants were there. So how was the main how was the operational results for the plants? Now, if you take the main plants like your Bamar, your plants in Vijayanagar, so how these plants performed? If you could give us any idea.
All plants perform very well, and of course, only the odd man out was Vijayanagar plant where our PLF was lower. Otherwise, all our plants did very well, and where the deemed PLF was higher than what we budgeted and planned. And in case of our hydro asset, we saw ever highest since inception, the power generation. The PLF was 104% as compared to 93%, which was last year. And so the generation was very good.
Yes, so this was itself a seasonally strong quarter, for even the hydro generation. And, you did talk about it in the press conference that, the focus will be there for the, the renewable source of energies. So what kind of outlook we can expect, for this segment for your company?
We are contemplating that we would like to become a 10 gigawatt company in next 3 to 5 years time frame, and then our focus is primarily on the renewable space, both all hydros, wind or solar, all three type of energy. In thermal space, we are seeing as a one-time opportunity because the sector is stressed at this point of time, and there are quite a lot acquisition opportunities. So that will be only one-time opportunity, but going forward, we are quite a bit about the renewable space because we are very, very optimistic about the power sector.
Well, this quarter, a lot of important transactions happened. The first one being the Utkal transaction. So basically, we just want to know what's the current update like, and what kind of commissioning we can expect for both the plants for your Utkal.
It's a 700 megawatt power plant, 2 units of 350 megawatt. 1 unit was commissioned, another was under construction, and we have been selected as a successful bidder, and then it has been admitted to NCLT, and we expect the transaction will get consummated during the current financial year, and we are expecting it will take any time between 12 to 24 months time frame to put both the units into place. And this is one asset which is a low-cost pithead power plant where 90% power is PPA tied up with a fuel supply linkage in place. So, and it's a low-cost power and in the bottom quartile for the distribution company. So, it's a good asset.
Well, apart from this, another distressed asset, we're talking about is the GMR's asset in Odisha. So, sir, we would like to know what's the current, update on that, and is the deal coming through in this FY20, or will we expect, this delay to continue?
We have entered into an exclusive discussion along with the GMR Energy, and this is a 1050 megawatt power plant, which is 84% PPA tied up with fuel linkage, and we expect the transaction should go through in the current financial year. And there is quite a lot synergy between in Bharat Utkal as well as GMR Kamlanga because both plants are nearby, and they will bring us a lot of operational savings.
Well, sir, apart from this, the industry outlook, it's been tepid, let's put it that way, for the power sector currently. So how do you think, going ahead in the next couple of years, or maybe in next year itself, what do you think the sector will hold for the industry as a whole as well as for the company?
See, last year the power demand grew 5.1%, quarter one 7.4%, quarter two 1.6%. So quarter two is becoming a big aberration now. And we see that it was primarily because of the extended rains, too much heavy rainfall, because of which first time we saw 9.2% lower generation by renewable sector, solar and wind, and which is very quite unusual because this is quite a windy period. And then, but because of the extended rains, we saw this kind of a issue. And of course, there was a economic slowdown which was there, and but H1 was 4.4%. I am expecting H2 will be better than H1 in terms of the demand growth. And the reason we are more optimistic about the power sector is that more and more urbanization is taking place, low income housing thrust, and electrification. These are the three things which are driving the power demand up consistently, other than the industrial activity side. And this will continue to be robust. And secondly, no capacity addition which is taking place in the sector. If you see, the capacity addition is consistently year on year, it is declining. And in H1 also it has declined further. So with that keeping in mind, the overcapacity which was there in the power sector is slowly getting absorbed. So that's why I am quite upbeat that I see that next 2 years time frame there will be a power shortage. So one should not look at from a quarter perspective, but long-term perspective or a medium-term perspective, we are very, very optimistic. That's why we feel that this is the right opportunity time to acquire more capacities.
And so one more thing is about the distressed assets, like, next 2-3 years, I'm sure the companies, trying to, search for distressed assets. So is there any kind of, search going on, in any state as such, apart from the transactions which have already happened in this quarter? So are you looking at acquiring any more distressed power assets?
So we are interested in every asset, but the most important criteria for us is that it should be in the bottom quartile for the distribution company. So that's, if any asset fits in that criteria and we are getting minimum normative return on equity, we will be certainly interested in that particular asset. So we are looking at quite a lot more assets, and I think we have a lot of appetite.
And lastly, sir, what's the final outlook, for FY21?
So FY21, our capacity will be much more than what we are this year, and then I think the power demand will be much better, and I think we are going to do much better in FY21 than FY20.
So what kind of expansion of capacity are we looking at, if you can give us a figure?
So look at that if these two transactions go through, then with this our capacity will be going up by close to 40% by end of this financial year. And so that will be quite optimistic. Another project of Kutiyar Hydro Power Plant, 240 megawatt, which we have started the construction after closing the PPA, for which we have received the LOI from Haryana. And that will another that project which will be taking 54 months. And we are quite upbeat about the renewable space, and where the gestation period is very less. You can, if you start any project, you can complete it in an 18 months time frame. So I think those are the good sweet spots which we will be landing in time to come.
All right, so we'll leave it till there. Thanks for talking to BloombergQuint.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.